Hello. This is our second podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really decided a name. I think when we get more people, we'll kind of like come up with a few names and then like let you guys kind of choose.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys kind of have anybody that listens can kind of have a little bit of power over kind of when things happen. So what are we gonna do? Like maybe 2 podcasts every week, maybe?
We'll try.
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I would.
Is that the schedule? Because right now we were talking to
Well, what we want to do is our quota is 2, right?
at least 2.
Right.
Maybe we'll do 3. I don't know. But that's kind of like depending on how much time we have.
Mm-hmm.
And today we kind of came up with, we came up with a theme.
Right.
And we came up with like some questions that we're going to ask each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like the 5 questions. So we might have the name being 5 questions. But anyway, I'm Steve Brown.
And my name's Owen Brown.
And this is the no-named right now podcast kind of thing.
Yeah, between father and son.
Father-son
stuff,
type
yeah.
thing. So father-son talk type thing.
Right. Now, getting into that topic, here's my first question. What do you think about our podcast and what it could do to father and son relationships?
I think it could like, if not, get fathers sitting and talking with their sons, at least listening.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, Owen, you're what, 16 now, right?
Yeah, I'm 16.
I know his age. I shouldn't say what. I know his age. If I don't know his age, then we got some problems here. And I'm a Gen Xer. And I think that having our kind of outlook on how we do things and how we're like, yeah, I bumped the mic. I'm sorry. I was like,
I just have to bring it closer to me a little bit.
I bumped it. He
fine.
looked at me like, man, why'd you bump that mic? But I think we'll have shorts like that. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to work on not saying so much. So we're going to do some things and we're going to like kind of work with us with these bugs,
Mm-hmm.
you know, especially with us and for me.
Right. Mine is saying right all the time because I don't want to say I know. And that's something I live by, so.
So I think this podcast can really help father and son relationships, and I think it can also kind of steer young men and fathers in the right direction and not away from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because there I did it again. See, you
You
gotta catch me a little bit here. I'm
started
trying because we kind of need that, and I think. I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect father. You know this.
Yeah,
like people
I do.
look and think I'm perfect, but you know I'm not perfect. There's been a lot of bumps along the roads. And you know, it was just us since you were like 7, 6.
Yeah, 7, 6.
But before that, it was pretty much us all the time.
Right. My mom was working, so.
Yeah, and I was training at Ground Slam Reversal Yokohama. It's Grand Slam now. I'm doing again. I've trained at Pancreas. Did it again? Pancreas Kanai. I also trained rodeo style in Yokosuka, and all of the ladies and gentlemen there are very talented, and I wish them all the best. And I haven't seen them in many, many years, and I do appreciate all of them, and I hope they're all doing well.
Okay. Getting
back to everything,
Yes.
I think that this podcast might be able to help. I mean, we have all of this craziness going on, and it's not how we are. It's not the everyday. I can't identify with anything that I see on TV or on the news or on beer cans because that's not how we work.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, we protect the right for those people to do whatever they want here in America because that's what we're about. And there are so many other countries that are paying off our top people in order to
Whoa. What would that
turn our country kind of make it look like we're a bunch of
Oh.
sissies.
Okay, yeah.
And
you're
I
right.
think that our podcast, with our conversations and our conversation topics that we've even had in the past,
Right.
would help kind of steer people away from believing that. Because that's not the status, that's not the majority by any means. It's a very thin minority.
And it's what's seen.
But don't get me wrong, anybody that has enough enough change in them to want to cut a part of themselves off,
Mhm.
I believe you. Do what you want. I did not but let's leave the children alone.
Mhm.
And I think some of that will be on a topic because we'll hit that because that's an issue. I did it. We're gonna have to count these people. Somebody's got to give me a count, and so hopefully I'll be able to work on it, and it'll get lower each podcast. That way, we're working on my conversational skills. I used to be able to do this. I went to college too, and I stood in front of groups of people.
You just got to get back into the habit.
It's difficult, but
Yeah.
my question to you is: you have been wanting to do a podcast for a very long time,
Yes.
and I finally was able to provide
Mhm.
the equipment and finally the know-how to kind of do it.
Mhm.
My question is, where do you see this going?
Okay. I see this going into people's phones. I see this being looked at.
You mean like going? I mean going like future. I don't mean going
Oh.
like direct. I hope it goes.
Yeah,
in,
I
hope
hope
it goes in their
directly.
ears and that they're actually practicing it. And
But what I meant was that it should grow because there's so many stupid things out there
Mhm.
that become very popular. It might just be a certain picture with
Mm-hmm.
a song behind it that's loud. And they'll get as many views as up to 50K. And I just think that if sounds are able to get up there, I think that us talking can bring a lot of people in and talk
Does
to each other and bring some life back into people's conversations.
Yeah, there's a lot. Excuse me. There's also a very Owen is completely different from how I was in high school, or as a student. So seeing him do his thing, and then being able to ask him the questions of like, what are you doing? Like, what are you thinking? And why are you doing this?
Mhm.
Right? So we all get to see that also. All right. So I think that's good. So it's time for your question to me again. So that's one-on-one.
Okay. Now, my biggest question for this whole entire topic would be, I think I already asked you about what you've seen around the world last podcast. No?
I don't remember.
Okay, then I would like to ask, what have you seen around the world that is the same? Like in every country, in every nation that you've gone through. Like, is it laws that are the same? Is
No.
it people?
No.
culture?
Cultures are vastly diverse.
Mm.
We were talking about one thing that's just a comical topic that, look at Thailand trannies and Japan trannies or Japan new half. And my only question is, why we get the busted ass trannies, dude? Like all our trannies look like half dudes. Like they're not fooling anybody.
You're right.
I'm just saying. If you want to feel like a woman, try to look like a woman. That's all I'm saying. Don't half it and leave everybody questioning what you are and then get mad when they ask you. Now I'm just saying, if you're looking at the trannies in Bangkok and Thailand, you can't tell the difference. And I mean, they're beautiful. I do have a story about that really quick. You want me to kick that out real quick? No, or
sure.
do you want
yeah,
me to,
exactly.
you want me to kick that out?
Is it good? Is it good? Nothing too bad.
It's funny. I'm not going to use names because I don't want anybody to incriminate. And
Right.
some of you that are listening, you may know. Please don't post their name because that's come on.
Right.
Come on.
Come
we
on.
ain't throwing people under the bus here. All right. We're done with that. So I was actually in Japan in the Hajj. And they got a little bar there. And this bar is a buy me drink bar, right? And buy me drink bars in Japan, when you go in there, the buy me drink bars, you gotta understand, you're buying the drink, it's 3 times the amount of the cost of a regular drink. You're not paying for the drink, you're paying for the talk. You're paying for the company,
Right.
okay?
Okay.
And you're paying to sit with something that you normally don't get to sit with.
Yeah.
So that could be something more beautiful than you've ever seen in your entire life. And it's a fact. You'll walk in there and you'll be like, holy cow, you are the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. 3 sheets to the wind drunk with all your other buddies. Going in a bar, not realizing it's a tranny bar.
Oh.
And I mean, all of these tranny women were beautiful. You could not tell. You had to look deep at that Adam's apple, and even then, they were so like dainty. It was unbelievable. And I was sitting there with somebody. This somebody is a very decorated person, and I have the utmost respect for him. And this somebody looked at me and said, "Steve, I don't care if it's a dude or not. I love her anyway." It's all about love, you know. And I was like, yeah, yep. And, you know, I've always had that stance that if you love somebody and that's what your thing is, then, you know, you do.
Yeah.
And I think that protecting that's a good thing. Now, as a Christian man, I do not agree with doing that because that's not me. I'm not going to do that. Now, that doesn't mean that things have happened before. It just means that, you know, I'm a Christian man. That's not what I do.
Right.
All right. That's just me. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have any more tranny friends because I'm not in Japan. And like, you know, I just don't hang out with anybody anymore.
I should.
So yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Now I got to ask you a question, right?
Right. You can ask me a question about that topic if you need.
I am going straight to that topic because a lot of people may or may not know that Owen has been in both public and private school
Yes.
here in Florida and in Kansas,
Yes.
right? So I want to ask you about that. Tell me about where you went. Well, I don't know if you want to name the name of the schools that you went to.
I'll just say the state.
Okay, and then you can say kind of the level of things, and then go from there. But we don't want to because we like the schools too.
Right.
It's just you had some things happen. I want to hear about what you think about the level of schools, the differences.
Okay.
What's the differences because you've been through both, and then like your experience, and then how it was handled.
Okay.
That's kind of my whole question.
About what?
So,
About
so going to private school versus public school, what have you seen?
Okay.
And what was the curriculum
Okay.
in Kansas and Florida?
All right. Well, I should have started with in Kansas, where I grew up in elementary school, had a lot of curriculum that was behind using less newer books. They were really on the keen and older stuff.
So then,
I grew up.
that was
being taught.
That was William.
I grew up.
Sorry, but
Yeah, I grew up being taught how to speak English, but it was a different type of class because there was a majority of people who had 2 languages at the school.
Okay.
And they were it wasn't a majority, it was like a group of 7. And the group of 7, and what we would do is we'll go into a classroom, and there's a teacher there. And what she would do is she'll show you how to do verbs and all those sounds that other people have learned before you.
Okay.
And what's different is they'll take you out of the classroom. You don't have a specific time for doing it. The teacher will just take you out of the classroom and then teach you. And it was kind of all of a sudden. It was never a certain time or a certain date. she'll just take you and go, hey, you gotta learn
Whenever
this right
she
now.
showed up, she's like, yo,
Yeah.
let's go learn this stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
And there's some friends, and what they would do is they'll play games and all that.
Okay.
That was different from what was in Japan, because in Japan, when you learned your language, it was all on textbook and you'll write it, and it was very serious.
Yeah. So they had more of a laid back kind
Yeah.
of style.
And it was fun, and that's what allowed me to learn
What was fun here was fun
here
or-
in
okay.
America.
So that's the America versus the Japan. Now let's do the private school versus the public school.
Okay. Well, in private school, everything you do is really monitored.
Well, not just any private school. You went to a private Christian school.
Christian school.
Two different ones.
Two different ones, yes. And they're usually very monitored. And they try to do their best in keeping moral codes up to standard.
Like
Well,
dress code.
Yeah, dress code, proxies, or even then.
Oh, you can't be so close to certain people. You have to be.
No, like proxy cards, where you swipe them and then you get into the school.
Oh, proxy
Yeah.
cards. So you have like key cards.
Yeah,
to get in now.
there's more security because
More security?
Yes, more security. There's guards and then all of that, which is different from public school, because a public school usually has a few cops.
Okay.
But private schools, on the other hand, hire their own guards, which is a little different. It's not just the high school coach.
Okay.
It's also, it could be ex-military, it could be anything
It could be anybody that's just got any type of.
that has documents to show that they could work.
So
And
not just
keep the
work.
kids-
They can.
yeah,
they
keep
can.
the kids
They
protected.
can effectively make sure that anybody that comes in as a target gets taken out. Like this is, you don't understand. This is Florida. So like it's not a like some of the schools have gates that you need an armored car. I don't even think an armored car would get past some of them. That was one of them. And then this new one is so big, they've got guards everywhere. And I mean, they've even got a sheriff on campus too.
Right, at all times.
At all times.
At all times. Because kids are the most important things in our society. And we shouldn't neglect them.
100% agree
We
with
shouldn't
you.
cut funding either to
No,
teachers.
I don't.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Well,
teachers need more funding.
here's what that goes to. They need to have more funding from
Parents.
better American companies
When I was
with
talking about
American
public
values.
schools, yes.
I mean public schools as
Yeah.
well. There needs to be, because the stuff that they're getting and they're getting paid to push is not the curriculum that we want them to have. And as parents, in my opinion, that's why I chose to try to put you in private school as much as I could, because I knew you needed to have both dynamics, but I wanted him to understand the difference. So now let's go to, you moved from one school where you basically grew up, one area of where you basically grew up, and we spent a short time in another area in Kansas. During that time, tell the story of kind of like your experience, what happened, how you felt, and kind of like, I want to hear about that, because you're really good about talking about that,
Yeah,
and like
it
how it
was.
made you feel, and then what happened, and then how you dealt with it, because I think you really dealt with it really well. But then he brought up a lot of good points.
Wait, I'm supposed to explain the
Okay.
story.
Yeah, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to enjoy it because I talk too much.
Okay, so I moved to a school that was closer to the capital. And when I did move to that school, a lot of things occurred. First off, it was more liberal because it was near capital, so it was city. And when it's more city, this time, it was more liberal. And they allowed different kind of teaching to go on. And I'll expound on it later, but now I need to talk about how the story went. I walk into the school and I get into a confrontation with a teacher on the first day. And that teacher was a business teacher, and I took business classes before him. And I already took the class that I was retaking. And I made him mad because I kept answering the questions that he put up on the slide, asking if anybody knew it, and if they knew it, they shouldn't be because they're supposed to be learning this in class. But I knew everything. I knew everything that the slide had. Now, after that, I changed classes to a social media class. Well, it was video making at that time, or just media at the school. And I go to the counselor's office, change my classes, and then when I changed them, third period came, and I walk into the door. I sat down, and all the kids around me started telling me, "You need to get out of this class. This is not a good class. We can't change our classes. We already picked them for the year. You have a chance to change your class." I'm wondering what's going on, all right? And come to find out, a male about 6'8", right?
No.
It was a male.
It was a male, 6 foot, about 6 foot, maybe five nine.
5'9", right about there, and had giant tits and hairy armpits, and they showed them too, and they had a little beard going on. So, ooh, okay, I know that I'm not supposed to judge, but I had a feeling that I had to get out of there, considering what the other kids have told me. And the class starts, and I start saying, "Oh, I wonder if this is a good teacher or not," because
I taught you to
like,
at least
not
look
judge,
past
yeah,
that,
look
right?
past
Look
it.
past
Look
it.
past
Try
it.
to, if
See-
you can deal with it, right?
oh my goodness. He kept touching all the kids, like their shoulders and their arms, and then going around them, and like it was I didn't like what I was seeing. So what do you do when you don't like a class? You change it. So I went up to the counselor, and I had my American hat on.
Wait. I got another question.
Yeah.
This is my fourth one.
And I sat in the office
No.
for a little
Did we
bit.
talk on the phone?
Yes. This
Okay,
is what
talk
we're gonna
about that
about.
conversation.
So I sat in the office, and I called my dad, and I said, "I need to change classes. I need to change classes
What
right
did I
now."
say? I knew it.
I said, "The trans teacher is the one I got."
And
And then my dad goes,
I knew it.
He
I
knew
said
it.
I knew when he said he was
He
going to
knew
change
it.
classes, they were going to put him in there. Because when we first did the tour of the school, I met them, and they were wearing a white beater with big old boobies, and I was like,
"Hairy armpits."
yeah, and I was just like, oh, yep, nice to meet you.
Yep.
And that's all it said, because
I called and I said,
now in my head I'm going, that's weird. I'm just saying, boys are in the most heightened sexual time in their life.
right.
That's weird. I'm
You
just
don't
saying.
know what you're picking.
No,
Like, it's
hey,
the same
I'm
as...
just saying, it's strange.
It's the
strange.
same as a teacher revealing herself more, right? And that shouldn't be allowed on any circumstance.
And there shouldn't be any touching at any,
I
at any
agree.
part. Like, but I didn't.
It was weird. It was weird.
All right, go ahead. I'm
Okay.
done.
So I called him and I got the permission to change my class.
What did I say to you?
He
What did I
said, "Just go talk to the counselor.
Do what
Handle
you
it.
want.
Do what you want."
It's your choice. It's
Yeah.
not my choice. Right?
Yeah. So I had an American hat on, and I walk in.
American hat? What kind of American hat?
It had a deer on it. I don't remember.
What is that? I don't remember the dang brand. It's I can't think of the brand, but anyway, someone will know.
Okay, yeah, someone will know. And I had the hat on, and I go into the counselor's office, and I put down my hat, set it on the chair, got another chair, sat down on it, and I go, "I need to change classes." And as soon as I said that, she said, "I know." I knew you were going to say this. And I went, "You knew?" And she started smiling.
Oh, they did it to him on purpose to see his reaction. Oh, man. See, this is the listen.
And then she said, "Hey, I think you want to take that world history class.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good teacher. You're going to like him." Yeah, he was a good teacher. But, yeah, it
This
was
is
one of my experiences.
So then as soon as we came back, I always ask him, because I think it's good to give our children choices within choices, right? But at this point, he's 16, and I have to, he's already knows. He can come to me and ask anything, and we talk about stuff like that. I'm sure you might question something there. I don't know.
Yeah, if I ask,
I don't know if you have
give me an
another
answer.
question. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't lie.
Mhm.
I don't lie to him. I try to always tell him the truth, even if it's horrible. That's because life can be horrible, and he has to be prepared for whatever's going to come. And as a man, he has to be prepared for whatever's going to come. And that has to be at any point in time. And then it's my responsibility as a father to make sure that he's mentally and physically prepared for life.
Right.
And
I appreciate you for doing it.
yeah, well,
Because I know I could trust you, and you're not gonna lie to me because you don't have a track record of lying to me.
no.
But as soon as you lie to me, it's like, why am I even telling you the truth? You're
Then
you're
it's
just
I
as good
start
as my friends.
I start lying, you start lying. It's just a bang, 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 and
Yeah.
then it's like But even if you feel like you're scared to tell me something, you still know you can tell me because, dude, if I get mad, I get mad. I'll be mad for a little bit, and then we'll talk.
Right.
So it's one of those things where a lot of judging goes on, I think, and you have to just, as parents, we always want to be in control, and we have to be able to control, but we also have to be able to we're pals and we buddy around, but you still understand that you respect me, right?
Right. I do respect them.
And I respect you because you've shown me that you are dedicated in whatever you set your mind to, and that's how I raised you to be, which is a good thing.
Right.
But anyway, off topic. What is your consensus over the whole thing? Because now, when I gave him the choice when we came back here to go to Christian school, and we went to Christian school, and it was, what do you think? I don't know. I don't go there.
I would say that Christian schools will try to push you forward. They don't let you. They don't let you just idle in your life.
They don't really relax.
No, not relax. I mean, they push you forward, like in life events that are mandatory, because when they're mandatory, well, you have to go through them. They're like any other corporate meeting or any other business. Yeah, if it's mandatory, you gotta go, and when you go and you get used to it, you're able to talk to more people, and they're pushing people to talk to each other more.
Communication.
Because it's right out of COVID.
Right, it's communication.
They want kids to communicate more.
Yes,
as a community.
See.
Oh, and the biggest thing is the school is just small enough for you to have a group of friends that aren't too large. Like a whole table length long. Yeah, you don't get that. You get like 6 people at a table, and that's it.
So you guys are literally, and the thing I love about this is the fact that the more I meet some of your friends, the more I'm like, well, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All of anywhere at any school, you're gonna have your rebels.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have I was a rebel. Anybody can say I was one of those. And that's why I said there's a real big difference from how I was and how you are. And like I asked him, I'm like, well, dude, are you gonna go party? Are you gonna go do this? No. I think when I was younger, I didn't think grown-ups knew jack anything. And I was against anything that they were saying. And we didn't really have we had the internet, but we didn't have it in our hand right away.
Right, you don't have a supercomputer in your hand now.
You can if I tell you something, you can be like, oh, he's not lying.
Yeah.
But we didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So then it was if somebody came and talked to us about drinking and they were like, listen, if you drink alcohol, it's going to destroy your muscles and it's going to deteriorate your ligaments. Right? We would be like, yeah, woo, Budweiser, we're going to cake party, Mm-hmm. And it was get messed up and party with your friends and then, have girls take you back to your house and you never get laid. And that's another thing. Mm-hmm. When I was younger, even though we're in a hypersexualized environment all the time on
Mm-hmm.
TV, everywhere, which, don't get me wrong, I like big butts and big titties. all the time, just as much as the next gentleman. I'm a man, all right? But I'm a Christian now.
Right.
I was a heathen before, and that's all right too, because when you're ready to repent, repent.
Right.
If that's what you want to do. If you don't want him, and you don't want Jesus, that's fine too.
Wait. Let's get back to the topic. You were a heathen, right?
Yes, I was.
Now there's me who have.
I
have the
don't
phone to
do anything, bro. You play chess, you read the Bible, you read books, and you study your schoolwork all the time, and then you play video games. And I'm like, bro.
And work out.
And he works out with me.
A lot.
Works out with me. By the way, work out with your kids. Work out with your kids. Get them off the couch. Go do something. Get a mat like I got.
Go on a run.
It costs as much as a TV used. Right? Well, maybe
right
a little
about.
more. More.
Right about a game
Brand new
console.
TV. You can get a mid-sized TV for a good mat.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean something that y'all can play around. And you don't even have to be a black belt to teach your kids stuff. You can get a book and teach your kids stuff. You can get a video and teach your kids self-defense. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to make it public. You can make it very private within your family home.
You don't need an instructor.
Japan
Right.
was very well known for having tatami rugs and training at home.
Right.
Right?
Tatami floors. And
Tatami
that was
floors.
just for you to just do judo and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, what's next? What were we talking about next?
No ums. It would be... Okay, here's one. How has America changed compared to the 80s?
The
And
80s and 90s?
90s.
90s I remember more, but the 80s were fun. The 80s was outdoor kids. We were all outside. We didn't come home until it was dark. We played in the dirt. We had neighbors would come over and give us spankings if we acted up in front of our mothers.
It doesn't happen no more.
There wasn't as much attack on masculine Americans as there is now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an attack on masculine Americans, not just masculine men. It's Americans. It's an attack on American men. And it's been an attack for a while. But the problem is that we've had this pushed in our schools, pushed in our society to make men wear dresses or things like that to accept it. Now, don't get me wrong.
Acceptance is fine.
Acceptance is fine, but billboards are not. And we have to realize that some people, they really regret making those choices early in life and not getting the help that they did later in life, and then they kill themselves. And that's a fact that nobody really talks about because everybody wants to celebrate these people that kill themselves. I don't want to celebrate them. I want to help them. And if they want to wear stuff and drag at nighttime and I'll go to a drag party, dude. What is up? I think that shit would be fun. But I will not go to any drag party with any children. Right. There better be 18 above there. No 16-year-olds, no 17-year-olds, 18 above. Right. I'll go and do that. I don't have a problem celebrating people that want to have fun and do crazy stuff. I was in clubs in Japan in 2000s, bud. Okay? We're talking about hard gay. Woo! Hard gay, boy. Y'all don't know. HG. Woo! I had to do it, man. I'm sorry. I had to, dude. I'm a fan, bro.
You've been at it for like
all week,
now.
baby. Hard gay all week.
Oh, God.
But, dude, I'm telling you, man. You gotta lighten up. I'm a Christian. I lighten up and laugh about it, but we have to realize that a lot of the stuff that other countries are seeing on TV that's being pushed, they're judging us and they're thinking we're weak, and that
wrong.
Is so far from the truth. And I don't like wars, and especially world wars. And don't get me wrong, Putin's. I have a lot of respect for Putin. But what he did with China, especially when he was against the UN, China is the UN. Full circle. I don't know what you're doing. Che, you're not a god.
Yeah.
You're not a god.
We have our God.
We have a God, and he's definitely not you. As far as
I asked about the 80s.
as far as the 80s go, I'm an 80s baby. That's where they made me. Jay-Z. I love the 80s. I miss the 80s. It was barbecues. It was neighbors. It was people coming together. It was helping each other out. It was good music.
How was church in the 80s?
Church was proper. There was when I went to church, I was Methodist.
Okay.
I went to Methodist church, and it was, the robes, and it was like
proper,
old
proper.
school,
Okay.
old school proper. It wasn't like bands or
It was
tambourines.
hums
and
on the
hymns,
choir.
not hums.
Hymns,
Hymns, yes.
hymns, not hums.
No,
hymns. Hymns
That's an old
and a
song,
choir.
man. Old song. But yeah, I really miss the 80s, and I miss the 90s was fun too. It was just, there was so much going on, and it made, we weren't connected as much. We didn't know as much.
And did that
Nobody
make it
knew.
fun?
Nobody knew as much.
Nobody.
It made it, okay, ignorance is bliss, people. When you don't know what's coming, it's wonderful because you're not worried. But when you know what's coming, it sucks. And
Yes.
I understand that.
Stress sucks.
Stress sucks. But what sucks even worse is after reality smacks you in the face and you weren't prepared for it.
That sucks even worse.
One of my first idols, Les Holgren, used to say, be prepared for the, hope for the best and be prepared for the worst. And I think I've said that to you before.
Yeah.
Hope
you
for the
said that
best,
to me
be prepared for the worst. And that is something that we kind of
should live by.
we kind of try to live by here. So I miss it. Right now, things are like, there's no togetherness. Like, there's so much division. There was more togetherness during Rodney King beatings than this crap. Than I've seen in the past 4 years. I've seen just things that I didn't think America would ever do. I didn't think America would just bow down and start taking shots without knowing anything about it. Just going with the status quo. I literally made a comment about that never happening in America, and then it happened in America. That's when I realized that there were people on social media that are a lot bigger than me that are like, all right, peon, okay, ant, watch this. We control you all. You're cattle.
Well, yeah, but hey.
Now,
Hey.
I'm just saying,
You're
that's
just
how
saying.
I felt. And I know you're getting me throttled back, but it's kind of like,
No rants.
it's kind of like that, though. I feel like it's like that. I don't feel like we have the freedom that we need to have.
Okay, yeah, that's valid. That's definitely valid.
I feel like it's being taken slowly. And it's not a feeling, it's happening. We just have to look around. And I miss being ignorant. I miss not knowing. I miss thinking that we were the good guys all the time. And for a time there, we were not the good guys, and there were bad guys running. And then the bad guys, like I said, it's chess. They set up the chessboard already.
Right.
It's hard to beat somebody that owns the board.
Could I speak?
Yes, sir. Go ahead,
All right.
young man.
Well, when he talked about division, I really want to key in on that.
Key in on
because-
that?
Yeah.
Division is like a key thing. We're gonna make mistakes. It's gonna happen.
You cut me off.
I'm sorry.
You cut me off because you
I'm
repeated
sorry.
what I said. You said key in on that.
I know.
You
I
said
told
key
you
in
I
on
wouldn't
that.
do it. I know. It's okay.
But
I
it's fine.
apologize.
I just
It's
got
all right.
startled.
It'll get better. I'll get better too. He'll get better. I promise. Right? Don't
I
worry.
got cut off real bad.
I'm sorry. I apologize. That was my fault. I did cut you off. All right. So go ahead.
Okay. So you talked about division, and when I think about division and where it occurs the most, I think it occurs on our phones. When you're having a conversation with somebody, or when someone's driving on the road, they have their phones up all the time. And I had conversations with a lot of people. And what I hate the most is when people are on their phones. They don't look up. They say they're listening, but they're not. It doesn't feel like there's any connection
You know what
between
that's
you
called?
and them.
That's you know what that's called.
What?
It's called pseudo listening.
Yes, and it sucks. No one should do it. If you're going to listen, listen.
Listen, if you ever get married, you're gonna do a lot of it sometimes.
But
I'm just
I'm not
telling
talking
you.
about marriage. I'm talking about on a daily.
Video games. You should don't listen to me when you're on a video game.
I'm talking about a conversation between 1 and 2.
You do it to me.
But hey, I'm not talking about that. I'm really talking about the
phones
conversations.
in the division. You
Yeah.
don't think what's being put through the phone is causing the division? You think it's actually just the phone itself?
No, that's a part of the game. It's a part of the system where it's division.
Oh,
where
so
the
like division
dividedness-
from
yeah.
parents.
Not
and-
just parents, between people, between friends. When you're talking with friends and they're on their phones and pseudo listening, that's not being with your friends.
Yeah, that is true. It's not really.
You're pseudo.
It's pretty disrespectful.
Yeah,
too.
it is. And a lot of people do it on a daily.
That's because that
That's
device is their life. It's more important
it shouldn't
than
be.
their interaction. And that's that division. That's a good point. That's a strong divide, huh?
Yeah, it's a really big one in our society.
I can't really talk smack about phones, but I came from, where we didn't really have phones, and then we had beepers, and then we had phones.
But
And
I
you
had a
already
phone,
see me?
grew up.
How when I don't have a phone, like when I'm away from my phone and I'm like finally like engaged in something, I'm a lot more.
You're enthusiastic to do something because
Yeah.
you have more boredom, and when you have more boredom, you have more incentive to do the things that are a little bit bored.
You want to work.
Or
You
boring.
want to get up and you want to do different things, and you just get off that phone. And I have a habit of getting on it too. I mean,
Me too.
I'm probably the worst person because I work off of it, and then if I'm not working, it's my free time, and I'm like. But now that I'm in here, I'm in here working out and training.
It seems like time goes by a lot slower.
On the phone?
Off the phone.
Off the phone.
Off the phone.
Not for me.
For me, it is.
Because
when
I'm in here and I'm training and I'm working out.
I didn't talk about working out. I talked about being on your phone, not working out, and then
When
being
I'm on
your
my
phone.
well, you said when I'm training, time runs by fast.
Right.
When I'm on the phone,
Time runs by fast because I've been on the phone and I've been scrolling for hours and hours, and 4 hours will pass by without me ever noticing.
so you're just like mesmerized.
Just mesmerized and gone.
I
in
used
4
to do that
hours.
with TV a lot. I used to like I remember doing that with TV, just like sitting there and binge watching Netflix. That was
binge
that
watching
was
TikTok,
TikTok. Well, back when I had TikTok. I didn't have it.
YouTube, Instagram.
Oh, I have a question.
Okay.
This is my final question because we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Yeah, that should be the final question to ask. Take your time.
What do you see happening in America? What do you want to see happen in America in the next 5 years?
I want to see communities again. I want
Barbecues and fairs and
like
fireworks.
I remember as a child in Japan where you would have community festivals, and in those communities people from around town would come by with their own businesses that they want to start up and test their stuff inside of a festival.
Bro,
as a
we've
community.
got festivals here.
I mean community festivals, like every single park.
You mean like
yeah,
like
not
where we
festivals,
live now,
festivals
not
where they're
like city
controlled by-
festivals. That's what you mean. Okay, I get what you're saying.
You're
I
missing
get
the
it.
whole point.
I see what you're saying. You mean more like
Yeah, as a community, not
Okay.
as a town, not
well,
as like
it's a town.
more like
I
a city
like it.
recently.
So, do you mean like blocks, like
Blocks.
block parties and stuff like that.
Yeah, block.
90s, baby.
Not block
Block
parties.
parties, baby. You heard him. Block parties.
Not block parties.
Can you imagine barbecues and block parties all across America? We just have a barbecue and block party day. Oh, it would be epic. Can you imagine the smells? Oh, vegans would pull their hair out. I don't think it should happen. It probably shouldn't happen.
No,
I don't know. Vegans would lose
It's
it.
fine. It's
Lose
fine.
it.
Because what I think is during the summer, we all go in camp, right? We have our own little things, and it should be just more than only family. It should also be 1, 2, or 4 streets all together. And those 4 streets all work in unison to create a festival, like in Japan, where we had those kind of festivals.
They were districts, and it was interesting because it was kind of like they were like non-violent gangs. They were like the Buddhist temples, and they have like
I'm talking about
a shrine.
festivals in front of our house.
Yeah, that's the shrine festivals you're
Oops.
talking about. Yeah, they have them for the area. For every area, the shrine has a festival, and then you have a competition that all the areas, because they have like their little area festival the same day, and then they all come together, and then they have this huge like where they pick a shrine up, and everybody's lifting it, and they have to like I don't even understand who goes the longest, maybe who can hold the shrine the longest, or who can jump it the highest. I don't remember specifically, but they wanted me to do it at one time, and I don't remember if I did it or not. I think I got pictures of doing it. It was fun.
When I think of the festivals, I'm not talking about the big ones. I'm talking about the small ones.
No.
with the-
They were small. All of them were small, but they always in the end. You never went because we always 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. You had to go to bed. You weren't up until the very end because the very end was like adult time. It's party, like alcohol and like it got wild, man.
Okay.
But yeah, for the kids, it was we always had a smaller thing in Japan.
At the park.
Yes.
Yes.
At the local parks, they have like goldfish and all this other stuff, and they have like little festivals for all the kids at the park. And then in the evening, and that gets the kids tired, man. That's the whole point. They're hot. They're running around in their cute little outfits, kimonos. The little girls running around in kimono, or summer outfits. It would be summer outfits, sometimes kimonos if it was.
It's like
winter, traditional, but
yeah.
And then get the kids all nice and tired. Spend a little coin. Send them home. Put them to sleep. As soon as they're asleep, leave them with Ba-chan and Gigi, Grandpa and Grandma. And then, it's adult time. It's time to go have some fun, take pictures. And it's
that's more community based, and I haven't seen that here in Florida yet. On a larger scale.
I mean, you went to Trump rallies, didn't you?
Yeah, but that doesn't.
That's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not for kids.
It's
well,
not
there were
the
kids
same.
there, but it's not the same. Yeah, I get it. And by the way, if you ever get a chance to go to a Trump rally, I recommend it. Madison had me go, my wife, and you wanted to go for your first one.
On Halloween.
On Halloween. Instead of going getting candy, this kid wanted to go see Trump. I was
Because-
like, man, okay.
Because I wanted to see what it was like. It's good to try out new things once in a while.
Madison, she's a huge Trump supporter. I think Donald Trump is great. I was not a Trump supporter when I met her. Well, I was not even in politics as much. I was just looking at like world problems, and I was just like, everybody's the same team. So for that, I just want to watch out for neighbors. But anyway, that's going to conclude our second one. Hopefully, it's not over 30 minutes, which it probably is.
Yeah, considering that we talked so much.
We should have done 3 questions, dude. We
Yeah.
talked too dang much, I guess.
Or we can make it into 2 segments.
I don't think we will. Just put it all out at once.
Just put it all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know what you guys think.
And if you have any questions for us, because we could put that in as one of the questions out of the 3.
Throw questions at us.
So-
We'll be more than happy to ask
So now
or answer if we can.
We're going to try to do 3 and 3 and keep it at that. Instead of
Maybe.
5 and 5. 5 and 5 is a little too long.
I don't know. I think it was a little too long. And I don't even know if we each got 5 questions in. I think of more or less like 4.
Yeah. But good questions.
Yeah, and I tried to keep the ums down. So let's see how good that happens.
Yeah,
Or how well that went.
I saw you like start to talk and be like,
I tried because you really told me this morning. You're like, Dad, way too many ums, Dad.
all right, let's go. All right, let's conclude it.
All right.
Podcast that we don't know the name of. This was
Number 2,
number
Father
2.
Son edition.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We look forward to seeing your comments, and hopefully you guys can laugh along with us.
Have a wonderful day, and this is
it. Stay blessed.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.